a lot of people that are feeling an anxiety right now is around indecision. And this is going to change pace real quick, but I think it's going to be important to highlight is you've been in this industry for over 20 years. You mentioned you've started going into this around 19 years old. And what I
Right?
find is a big anxiety for people who are maybe at the early stages of business is they don't have
Yes.
a clear purpose, direction,
Hmm.
or an idea of what should I be doing and putting my energy towards. And I'm wondering for you, because you've come from this ninth generation, there was almost this like, you could walk this path. There was a path that was kind of
Hmm.
shared with you. And I'm wondering if this was fully accepted at the
Yep.
beginning. Did you resist it and try to go your own way? And how did you come to this point where you've embraced that this is the path I'm going to work towards,
Yeah.
on, inherit, and kind of continue that path that has brought you the momentum now?
Yes. Well, I love that question. I appreciate it very much, and I'll answer. And I have two things I wish to share. So the first, and this is on parenting, on everything. Again, it all really does apply when you speak on this foundation. Is this was never forced on me, and it's something particularly as a parent I think about all the time with my two young boys. And my father was so incredibly wise and brilliant. He truly was of the Tao. He was funny and did all the things and was so powerful, but he really did live by the Tao. And one of the things, again, that he never did was force myself, my brother, or my sister into doing this. You're right. I do come from this. And at this point in my life, and actually really only in the last couple of years have I, how do I put this in correctly? It's hard to put in words, but it's come to my attention that much more being 40 that I've always been grateful, but a different kind of gratitude. I have been born into this, and I do acknowledge that not many people do. But listen, part of the whole thing is, as I keep saying, we all have a choice. And so my father, although this was part of my lifestyle, very much taught us, and all the things I'm saying, the keys of living meditation, the medicine, the movement, it was there. But at the end of the day, I hear him right now, no one can eat for you, right? And so you have to do it yourself. That's as far as it goes. And when for example, as my greatest mentor, when I decided to go down this path at 19, then he stepped in. But if I not, he wouldn't have, because if I did not make that commitment and my decision myself, then no matter what he ever tried, you can't convince anyone to do anything. Even as your own father, even part of this great lineage, that's the way it works, right? And that very much applies in business and all of the things. So that's the first thing I wish to say. One of the 8 keys that I think of all the time is actually the 8th key of the 8, and it's called Be Like Bamboo. It sounds very mysterious and East Asian. And, that is not a phrase that my ancestors passed down. This is one that I did come up with to name this key and this chapter, because it's the chapters are the keys. But this is something that has helped me so much in life, especially in business. Because yes, when I was really fast forwarding, I was the first daughter. So I was very, traditional, strict upbringing, very academic. I actually thought I was going to go to study Western medicine and was on that path. And then at 19, I saw a few things. Again, I probably saw them my whole life, but for some reason at around that age, it caught my attention. And it was a leap of faith. And that has happened a couple of times, especially as an entrepreneur in this life. When you feel those things, and I was always taught as well, there's so many doors of opportunity that come across us in life. And sometimes we don't even see them. But when they do get there, you make that choice. You have to feel it, and it's usually the scariest moments of your life. But for me, what it took is having a lot of faith in a higher power, feeling it deep down inside, knowing that it was scary. For example, jumping to now Eastern medicine because of some situations I saw where it was, basically treating some imbalances that I have never seen with our modern medicine. And I thought, you know what, I have to do something about this. That's ultimately what happened. And I took that leap of faith and started studying Eastern medicine. Okay, this happened again, kind of going down the business path where I thought, okay, no matter what, I think by nature, I don't even know if I shared this, I believe I exemplify East and West, old and new. My mother's American, my father's Korean, just by nature. And being here, I exemplify that. And it was important to me. I knew no matter what I do, I want to integrate that. And this is, remember, at a time 20 plus years ago now, that Eastern medicine, philosophy, none of that, nobody was familiar or comfortable with. Okay. And so I thought I'd have clinics, much like my great grandfather, who my lab I named after, JBK Wellness Labs. So I thought I'd have all these clinics, right? Now, fast forward. All of a sudden, the universe kept kind of putting these things where certain doctors would reach out to me for formulas. It happened to be that one in particular was a dermatologist. For some reason, she was the one that sparked my attention. And once again, I took a leap of faith and had many tears by myself because I was thinking, what is it? This is also what I say. What is it that I want? And let's not forget that phrase, because so often we don't even know what we want. And we keep going and we get confused and we get tangled because we don't even know what it is that we want in this life. Okay. And so just to kind of move forward and conclude here, that was another time going to that eighth key, be like bamboo, where I could have fought it because I set out to have clinics around, the world as far as I was concerned. And that's what I was doing. But I kept feeling, why is the universe wanting me to make formulas? So I took another leap of faith. And then I changed my perspective. I believe I'm doing this correctly. We started building brands in the beauty industry, spas, resorts, so on and so forth. And then it occurred to me, because I opened myself up, grounded myself, expanded my perspective, living meditation. I was like bamboo, be like bamboo, which I'll say in a moment here. And I realized that why don't I look at it instead of this is not how I'm going to have clinics and treat patients? Why don't I look at it like that now the world can be the clinic? Okay. And what I mean by that, and has never stopped since, and I'm just beginning as far as I'm concerned, is that I now reach people who don't even know that they should be looking down this path. And that's what happened, right? And that's how my whole lab grew and became what it is today. Okay. So in conclusion, be like bamboo, this eighth key, is one of the most important principles I live by in life. Very much in business as well, that we often think, especially in our younger years, and I feel like we both kind of said this with unspoken, Jason, especially when you're younger, we feel we are strong-minded, we're hard workers, this is what I wish to achieve, and nothing's going to stop me. And I very much was this way, still am, but different. In my 20s, I'd bulldoze through, right? But we have to remember that in life, if we don't have flexibility, if we're not able to pivot, you can break. And that's mental health, that's physical health, that's spiritual health, that's business, that's parenting, you name it, relationships. So that visual of bamboo, just always remember, bamboo is so rooted. I used to love the phrase, go with the flow. And I stopped loving that phrase. I still love it. But I started seeing, nope, there's something missing about that as far as I'm concerned in my humble understanding. That if you just go wherever that's, the flow, just go with the wind, that's that emotion. We just let the whole world run us. And that is exhausting. That will lead to all of the things that make us uncomfortable. Anxiety, depression, you name it. Okay. But when you're like bamboo, you're rooted. We always keep grounding ourselves into what is important to us. What is it that I want? And that can change, but not to forget that. Who am I? Why am I here? Then, like bamboo, remember this, bamboo is so flexible. What that means is when any of the storms of life come, bamboo can go, and the wind, let's say, picture these challenges as strong winds. That bamboo can go all the way to the ground because it's so flexible. And when the winds and the storm pass, it can come right back up. It's so strong. Different than being like a hard board. Here's the martial artist in me, right? So we see like the karate chop. Just remember, when you're so rigid and hard, you can break. With the right hit, if you do it too many times. But when you're flexible, you can see things in life. So kind of a long explanation there, but I hope that it, resonates very much.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.